the best place to promote your podcast is other podcasts. I wasted years promoting my podcast on social media before I learned this one strategy. Now it's the only promotion method I use. Let me ask you this. Where do podcast listeners spend their time? Not scrolling Instagram, not trolling on X. They're listening to podcasts. So the most effective way to promote your podcast is on other podcasts. That's where the podcast listeners are. And if you choose your partner shows wisely, those listeners will already be interested in a show like yours. The easiest way to do this is with a promo swap. You and another show play promos on each other's podcasts. These can be either pre-recorded or read by the other show's host. A heavier lift is the feed drop, where you each upload an entire episode of the other show into your feeds, preferably with an intro from the feed's host. Or you can guest on each other's shows. This is obvious, but effective. You each get to showcase your personality and expertise to a new audience, who get a chance to fall in love with you and hit subscribe. Don't forget to feature each other's episodes in a feed drop. Okay, so how do you find shows to do this with? Start by searching around using tools like Rephonic, which has a cool visualization of similar podcasts. Check communities like the Podcasters Support Group on Facebook, Podcasting Community on Discord, and the Tink Promo Swap List, a curated list of shows open to swaps. You could also search podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts using the same keywords you use in your own show description. And when you find potential promo partners, run them through Listen Notes, which gives you a rough estimate of show size. Before you try this, here are 3 things I've learned the hard way. 1, don't be intimidated by bigger shows. Generally, these swaps are best for shows with roughly equal download numbers. But that's not a hard and fast rule. Sometimes larger shows will run a swap with you just because they like your stuff. I've also encountered several large podcasts that make it a goal to regularly feature smaller shows. If you're nervous about the size difference, you can always offer an uneven swap. Maybe 4 episodes of promos for their 1, or a feed drop for a promo. But you might be surprised at how many hosts will just say yes because they recognize good work when they hear it. 2, host-read promos are just better. It's easy to record a single promo for your show and send it out to everyone, but it's not as effective. People who listen to a podcast usually like and trust that host. When that host tells them there's another show they might enjoy, they're more likely to follow through than if a stranger tells them the same thing. When you can, send a promo script for them to record rather than your own recording. 3, it gets easier the more you do it. The first time I pitched someone for a promo swap, I was terrified they'd say no. But the more yeses I got, the more it felt like asking a friend for coffee. If someone says no or doesn't respond, there's a 99% chance it's because they're busy, not because they secretly think you're an idiot. Here's the bottom line. Podcast marketing isn't about taking. It's about building. Build relationships with fellow podcasters, and you'll build your audience in the process. Start with one show that's similar to yours. Reach out, suggest a swap, and see what happens. And remember, the most effective marketing happens where podcast listeners already are, on other podcasts. Now go start building those relationships. You've got this.